Howdy, folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Boy, do we got another good show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the sun and moon as I get my Anacorona hat on. And you can buy Anacorona merchandise over at Nina the Mystic. And I hope you all do, because it's pretty good stuff. I got there's sweatshirts there, and you got all kinds of that stuff going on over there too. But it's all a good, and I hope you check out Nina's stuff at Nina the Mystic. I know I got tumblers like this that I bought. I got these hats, and I got the shirts. It's good things. So check out Nina the Mystic. She's got all the Anacorona merchandise you could ever want. And someday maybe I'll have, be the frequency you want to receive shirts or something like that on my channel. But for now, go over there and buy the Anacorona stuff. Thank you all for coming tonight. Travis Brick, Merry Christmas. We are really live and in person tonight. Elderberry, yes, we are. Tonight we're going to be going over this book again. We're going to continue off where we left off. The Medicine of the Sun and the Moon by Manly P. Hall. And I hope you're all enjoying this. It was a lot about the Chinese work and how it goes, compared to the medicine that we have now. The Western medicine is all been short. They make medicines in just several days and put them out on the market for you because they seem to work, whereas the Chinese spent thousands of years researching this from natural herbs and meditation and things like that. They had special healers that were your doctor, and those healers would go around from our last episode, and they would heal people. And if you didn't get healed, they wouldn't pay you. So I think that's a good thing. Or maybe I didn't get that far, but I read into this. It was pretty good. Let's see. We're going to go through some of the things, and of course I have, as always, presentations. And Nina, thank you. Smash the like button, she says. Yes, buy some of that Anacorona merchandise. You order it up now. You can always have it sent right to who you want, or get Nina to do you a reading. She does a great job at that. Let's see. Sun and the Moon magic. Here we go. And I had some psychedelic pictures yesterday, and some of them we didn't get through, but we're going to start off here on this. But we're back again now. Oh man, I was talking about. I was doing a short for another day on candles and peppermint oil and essential oils, and it was pretty cool. And I was thinking, yeah, that's kind of Chinese magic stuff. And so I put some under my nose, and I'm smelling this peppermint now. I'm feeling pretty good. It's stimulating the senses. I was feeling a little bit tired, but boy, oh boy, I tell you, not so much anymore. We talked about the yin and the yang. Let's see, where are we going to go tonight? I can't remember where I dropped off, but we'll just pick up somewhere here. Let's see, Chinese. Chinese physicians. Oh yeah, we were talking about Chinese physicians. We were talking about community life. The Chinese physician. He was in therapy. He did more in his community life. He engaged as a family doctor. He was retained and given money for keeping them healthy and well, and that inspired him to check in and be like the psychiatrist of everybody. It made him want to keep you well because then he got paid. But the moment you got sick, they stopped payment. And so if he didn't heal you, he didn't get paid. If he was a poor doctor, well, he was a poor doctor, and you could tell. But if he did a good job, he was a rich doctor. I guess that's the way it should be. If you go to the hospital and they don't heal you, do you still have to pay? Absolutely. They got you figured out, boys and girls. I tell you, not a fun thing. He recognized responsibility and realized that one way to keep the family well was to keep it happy. When problems and conflicts arose, when fears and responsibilities grew heavy, the physician immediately took over his various capacities because the moment illness appeared, the doctor's pay stopped. Thus, he was rewarded for keeping his patients well. I think that's a really good thing. Anyway, let's see. He never forgot the healer is a servant and secretary of nature. In the West, we assume that physicians is a servant in the house. Oh, mouse just ran by me. You'll never hear that anywhere else. I got a dog over here that's bothering me. She wants to get in on the picture too. Okay, come on. Come on, up. Come on. You gotta climb up. You gotta climb up here. This is a family show, so I gotta bring out the family and show you the family. Look at there. She gets jealous. I talk on the computer, and then she gets jealous and wants to get up here and get a little bit jealousy. So, okay, are you happy now? Are you happy? Are you happy to be up here? Yes. I know. You got. What are you doing? What? The camera's over here. You got to look at the camera. What are you looking at over there? You just want to hug me? Oh. Okay. There's nothing better than having a good dog. Yes. You look at the camera. See the camera. That's where you should look. If you want to be a sensation, you got to look at the camera. Okay. Okay. Get down. She wanted her 10 seconds of fame. That's what she wanted. Okay. I don't know what to tell you, everybody. Her name is Ariel. She is my girl. She's my puppy. Oh boy, you can see that for sure. She goes with me pretty much everywhere. But with all that said, anyway, we're trying to figure things out. Yeah. Notifications for my show are a little bit slow tonight. Okay, so anyway, we are reading through this book here. Share screen. This is the book we're reading from. Medicine of the Sun and the Moon by Manly P. Hall. Anyway, yes, if you don't have a good dog, get yourself a good dog. Nothing better than a good companion. We might say that the old Chinese system of medicine was a pleasant kind of health insurance. Perhaps we could not be so heavily drugged if our physicians were to receive no remuneration until they recovered not only from diseases, but from the remedy as well. It is obvious that under normal conditions, drugs are not used to keep people well. Occasionally, a spring tonic may be taken as a practice of farming families in our own country. Yes. Yeah, Ariel. If we could, we'd all meet her. She would love every single one of you, I'm sure. Let's see. Now, this I thought was really interesting. Chinese physicians also worked under certain handicaps. For instance, it was considered improper for a Chinese lady to be a physician, examined by her physician. Ivory figures of the human body thus became an essential part of medical equipment. When asked to describe what their symptoms, the gentlewoman indicated that an area of discomfort on the dowel, a somewhat similar practice exercise in Europe. Yeah, so they weren't touching you. They weren't touching you. I think I went through a little bit of that yesterday. We're going to get to the Chinese alchemists, the generous use of religious concepts, and all of these were also abundant in the writings. Yes. Let's see, we're going to get to some of this stuff. Yeah. And I'm going to share some things as I usually do. We're going to present to you some pictures. And who hasn't seen this? Herbal tea. Who out there takes some herbal tea? I want to see a show of hands. Let me know if you've had herbal tea of any sort. And did it really help you? Did it perk you up? Did it make you feel better? Did you put something in it? You know, things like that. Chinese alchemists made generous use of religious concepts, and these are also abundant in the writings of European masters. Whenever alchemy has been regarded as a vivid art, it has gained authority through its mystical implications. Taoist peach of immortality is certainly the philosopher's stone in the Hermetic depths. In the course of their experiments, the alchemists also made several important contributions to human comfort, pleasure. One gold maker was responsible for perfection of the Dresden porcelain. Another discovering illuminating gas. In China, the emphasis was upon medications for both the soul and the body, for man has always dreamed of extending his mortal life beyond his normal expectancies. Taoist magicians healed the sick, practiced hypnotism and mesmerism, and were quick to recognize the power of suggestion. They brought together patterns of theories and practices which many centuries guided the destinies of the Chinese people. The advent of Buddhism brought about with it a number of medical missionaries. The doctrine taught their merit could be gained by serving poor and sick and aged. Many temples and their clinics and also protected and treated suffering animals. Well, go figure, they were treating animals. They had vets back then. Well, of course they did. You'd want to get your animals perfected and injected. Medical theories from areas as distant as Rome crossed the Gobi Desert and made some contributions to traditional Chinese medicine. Oh, thought it. Wrong speaker. How about that? Maybe my sound is better now. The Chinese philosophy of health rests upon a simple concept that there is a universal harmony, which can be a concept that there is universal harmony, which can be found everywhere and in everything. Man has his indiscretions, deprives himself of natural benefits which heaven bestows. The individual who breaks the rules does not destroy rhythms of infinite life, but inhibits the supply of vitality moving through his own body, thereby depriving himself of the proper share of universal energy. Yes, the universal energy. Now, remember, we're not doctors here. I'm just merely reading out of the book for role-playing intensive purposes only. If you want real healing, you need to go to one of these guys. Long been dead by now, but they'll fix you up, you know. It says here, all living things upon the mysterious energy of Tao. It is more than food and water. It is even more than air we breathe. All living things participate in the universal life principle, which has orderly and proper rules and manifestations. The adjustment of the person with this universal pattern is health. The loss of adjustment is sickness. Yes. Thus, to the Chinese, health is the natural or normal state of living things. To become sick, man must destroy his own health, and this can be done either individually or collectively. Sickness is a symptom of ignorance. neglect, or disturbance of natural processes by impertinence. To the Chinese mind, therefore, moderation of action is considered the best defense against sickness. The individual who is uncertain should adjust his own life to natural patterns and try not to disturb universal processes. This concept of health should not be victory over sickness, but rather a victory over his own shortcomings. The person who follows nature and all these things is a healthy person. Well, there you go. A healthy person is moderation, knowing your own body and your own health. The sun is a symbol of light, principle, and creative energy, life power in all things. The motions of the sun and the universal radiance symbolize omnipresence presence of heaven to the Chinese philosopher and the physician. The sun is a symbol of a yellow emperor, Shang Ti, imperial heaven, which all creatures in the universe must obey. The yellow emperor is an absolute monarch. We may refer to him as the despot, but he is actually a benevolent ruler when obeyed and a harder taskmaster when disobeyed. For in the cosmic plan of things, nothing can be disobeyed and survive. That is true. You can't fight the laws of the natural laws. Not all persons are capable of understanding imperial heaven. The yellow emperor enthroned in the sky in a palace of crystal and lapis lazuli. One cannot assume that the emperor will disclose all of his plans and purposes to immortals or permit them to rearrange his rules for their own pleasure. See, it always goes back to some guy sitting in a throne in the sky, doesn't it? It's talking about, we should eat right. Let's eat right. Maybe we should eat right. Have vegetables. Don't say you shouldn't eat meat, but look at that. Doesn't that look good? Now, some people would look at that and say, oh, ugh, yuck, I can't eat that. But look you got some spinach there, and you got some broccoli, and you got some alfalfa sprouts, and some, one of those, what is that thing called? Oh my God, with the big pit in it. Those are really good for you. You should eat one of those a day. Cucumber. And if you eat this kind of a diet, some green or bean sprouts, or looks like green beans or peas. That's one thing I do like about the Chinese stuff. They're always eating fresh vegetables. In the West, we think of the kingdom of heaven as a spiritual abode in space. To the Chinese, the kingdom of heaven is a mundane world, a beautiful religion ruled by heaven according to the divine laws. Yes, the avocado. Thank you. Man, that was on the tip of my tongue. I love avocados. I just don't know how to make them with anything much. The way to understand the workings of heaven is through the unfolding of flora and fauna of the earth, which grow and flourish by and in the light of heaven. The sun is not only the symbol of man's preserving energy, but also of his radiationalizing power. The sun in man shines forth as comprehension. The light of the mind brings radiance to the dark realms of ignorance. Everywhere light represents true understanding. The philosophies of heaven are not numerous, but the virtues of heaven are beyond comprehension and calculation. So don't try to understand it all. That's, I guess, what they're saying is it's beyond your thought process. We are just simple beings in the big scheme of things. And by eating these vegetables, when you eat your vegetables, you're eating a living creature and you're gaining its essence. Whereas if you eat meat, not saying that you shouldn't eat meat, but when you eat meat, it's a dead creature who's already consumed the light. But this, you're eating the light. And you, as a light creature, you're taking in nourishment right from the sun. We've been always taught that we're the apex predator, and we're eating from, the top down, but maybe we should be eating from the bottom up. The rules governing all life are comparatively simple, but man complicates these rules in an effort to disobey them. He falls victim to his own disobedience because he perverts the principles by which he must live. Wow, who doesn't agree with that one? The Chinese physician, therefore, when he is made counselor of the family, has a responsibility in part of trying to restore the pattern of heaven in the affairs of his patients. Everywhere, the laws of imperial heaven must be direct human conduct if man is to be happy and well. Yep, let's see, where do we go from here? The moon principle is associated with Earth. So look at there, some green soup. Well, at least it looks like green soup. The moon principle is associated with the Earth and nature. It reflects the light of heaven and therefore represents those bodies through which the heavenly light is revealed. Every form, structure, and substance in nature reflects heaven, where it has the surface of a polished gem reflects the light around it. So all forms in nature merely reveal the way of heaven. Each thing in itself mirrors the story of heaven, and earth is a vessel which receives heaven into itself. As heaven flows downward into the life of man, so the seeds of heaven grow upward from the earth. Heaven is forever bestowing, earth is forever receiving and revealing. Yeah, we are feeding parasites living off us. Oh, that is so good. Wow, Shirley, thank you for coming. That is a really well said. There you go. And guacamole. Yes, guacamole is good. There you go. I never thought about guacamole. Hello, Patricia Stanton. Thank you for coming. The son of nature let's see here. Oh, here we got to go back to this one here. Thus, heaven represents the power, wisdom, and principles of things. The earth represents organizations and structures set up in nature. In a sense, when we refer to the kingdom of heaven, we actually mean heaven, sun, kingdom, moon. When we combine the two thoughts into an indivisible unit in which heaven produces its kingdom, the Chinese say it is another way. Virtue produces its fruits. All fruits are of the moon. All virtue is of the sun. And the great problem in the life of man is to bring these two forces into equilibrium. Remember, moderation, everybody. Hey, Max, thanks for coming. The sun is of nature of reason. The moon is imagination. The sun is of nature of knowledge. The moon of hope and faith. The sun is the nature of strength. The moon is of relaxation and response. Because heaven is forever moving and the moon is forever receiving motion. The life of man must have a solar aspect, which is the period of action, in which must have its lunar aspect. Well, you can see that in this picture. You got the sun, and then you got the moon. And one follows the other, and we're somewhere stuck in the middle. See, let's go on to a different picture. There we go. Figure that one out, people. Okay, the sun is the natural reason, the reason for the moon. And the sun is the natural knowledge of the moon, of hope and faith. The sun is the nature of strength. The moon is relaxation and response. Because heaven is forever moving, the moon is forever receiving motion. The life of man must have its solar aspect, which is its period of action. It must have a lunar aspect. Yeah, I think the moon, by its very nature, is an appropriate symbol for reflection. The maintenance of harmony of heaven and earth is made possible by the union of energy and reflection, sun and moon. To be mindful of these principles in our daily conduct is to recognize basic truths which can be valuable to us at all times. As a storm moves across the face of the earth, well, yeah, there's one doing it now, so confusion moves across the face of man. This led the Chinese to develop another art, the art of medical philosophy. By this, they diagnosed the state of the heaven-earth principles in man through the study of the face and the motions of the hands and body. And you can see this holism, relation of human body to the universe, differentiation of disease stages, personalization treatment, evidence-based medical pareinesia mechanism, targeted definition of drug selection. So by figuring out what man needs, you can come up with a cure. And there it is some more. I don't understand all this stuff, but if you do, see the yin and the yang and the balance of everything in it is a good way to look at it. If you got one thing wrong with you, you can cure it with another because you've got the positive, which is here your immune cells, you got your healing cells, you got your bad cells, and they run around and around chasing each other, keeping you in balance. So I don't know much about that. I'm not a doctor. But they've studied this for centuries and centuries. A lot longer than I have. But since they figured it out, I might as well use it too, right? Being in the balance is the key. I like that. Oh, yeah. But anyway, let's go on. Let's see. The first thing the Chinese philosophist looked for in human face was tension. The first thing he watched for in the human hand was nervous motion. He also mastered the study of pulse and was able to diagnose over 300 ailments from the deviations of the pulse beat alone. By analyzing the pulse, he attempted to discover to what degree humans will had tampered with the balance of a heavenly energy. The heart was associated with the sun. Therefore, if the heartbeat was normal, the energy necessary to life would be moderately and continuously released. Oh, well, that's a pretty good idea. Let's see. Here we got some herbs. And more herbs. Gotta love that stuff. In their theory of healing, the Chinese were practically alarmed by what might be termed eccentricity of any kind. They were afraid of sudden changes or anything which destroyed the rhythm and the tempo of life. They felt that the destruction or destructive attitudes which disturb the psyche balance of the personality would result in unhealthy body conditions. Therefore, they were particularly concerned over what we call that Chataingier or extrasterol. Today we know it is individuals is angry, excited, or stress-ridden. Both the blood pressure and the pulse beat are immediately affected. Yeah. That's why they ended up living so long. We learn from the polygraph the guilt mechanism affects the heart. Yeah, don't feel guilty. The effect is so different to detect that without intensive training or an instrument especially prepared for its measurements, we would be unable to estimate any variations. We know also that when a person has a guilty conscience, his respiration and perspiration and pulse beat immediately register his anxieties. His desperate effort to conceal his guilt affects his nervous system so acutely that the polygraph can register his efforts to misdirect the operator. It appears that the old Chinese physician used his skill in diagnosis from the pulse of a patient to secure much of the same information derived from the polygraph. Well, go figure. Oh, ain't that ingenious? Well, how many of you have tried this? Sure looks like it's painful, but I guess it's really good for you. The Chinese held certain principles to be true, proper, and valid. They believed that a code of the superior man, and it's exemplified in the teachings of Confucius. One of the attributes of the superior man was that he did not lose his composure. To lose composure is to endanger health. Western man says that requirement is difficult to meet. In Western medicine, they just give you the purple pill and then you're on your way. The Chinese were not particularly happy about the world in which they lived either. Along the Great Wall near Nakatu, a battlefield where a terrible war must have been fought probably 1,000 or more years ago, from weapons which have been excavated in it, is thought that this battlefront must have been 300 miles long and that between 4 and 5 million men were engaged in this struggle. Although peace and harmony did not bless the lives of the Chinese people, they believed it was the duty of their superior man to so strengthen character that he could survive any stress that disturbed his environment. Man must survive, not for his own comfort or convenience alone, but because he is intellectual part of the universal process, that the man's survival. In other words, he is to obey the law and fulfill the purpose of the Yellow Emperor. This purpose must have perpetuated by creatures fashioned by the wisdom of heaven. I bet you can't guess what this guy's doing. Anyway, in order, he is to obey the law. The purpose must be perpetuated by creatures fashioned by the wisdom of heaven. Of these creatures, perhaps the most interesting and involved is man himself. But man does not exist solely for his own benefit. He is not here simply because it is a pleasant place to be. He is not going to depart simply because he does not like it here. His destiny. You get all this? This is amazing. His destiny is in the keeping of a power greater than himself. He is on earth for a reason, and it is up to him to use every possible means to fulfill that purpose for which he was intended. The superior person, therefore, is one who recognizes that he exists for a purpose beyond his own selfish whims and attempts to so cultivate his life that he becomes a servant of the larger purpose, obeying the law of heaven as it applies in his particular case. Apparently, one of the purposes for man's existence on earth is that he is to mature his inner life, become a reasonable and rational creature, and ultimately come like an alchemist of Europe, to be operating chemist in the universal laboratory. He is here to become a chemist of divine alchemy. He engages in his laboratory research to discover the universal medicine by which all mysteries are solved and all imperfect things are made perfect. In order to be an operating chemist in the laboratory of his own life, the individual must maintain the order of his own character. He must prevent all ills and misfortunes from corrupting his own flesh. And you can see this one here. The guy's doing some foot massage. And I don't know if you've ever had that done, but a lot of your nerves and stuff connect to your feet and they can cure your ailments. And these are some herbs, that, people use. Okay, to the Chinese, health is a synonymous with loyalty to heaven. It is not gained or lost, or as moods of fancy dictates. It is man's responsibility to preserve the integrity of his body as a religious obligation. Maintaining good health, therefore, is a form of worship, and the individual who tries to preserve and protect his own health is offering his life to heaven. It just hit me. I was thinking about the Christian religion and how they're like, don't worry about yourself. God will take care of you. And in the Chinese stuff, it's like, you take care of yourself because that's the way to heaven. Hey, Elderberry, what's happening? All right. Through him, the way to heaven is made manifest, and he is making the best possible use of his energies and powers with which he has been endowed. It is so true that the body is the reasonably healthy conditions. The temperament enjoys a greater stability. A large part of our mental and emotional stress arises from the inadequacy of our physical health. Yeah, did you ever notice if your health is bad, you're usually in a grumpy mood? And if your health is good, you feel happy. The Chinese have figured this out. When we are nervous or tense and the body functions are disarrayed, we are unable to carry out the daily responsibilities of life and dignity. Therefore, health is involved in conduct, for it enables us to live comfortably in the physical body. The Chinese take the attitude that the body, well cared for, is less of a problem to its owner than one which is neglected or abused. By living moderately, and the individual preserves health, and it is not necessary for him to be continually body conscious. The reason we are consistently thinking about health is because we do not possess it. I guess that is really true too. If you're not healthy, you're always thinking about being healthy. The reason we are constantly thinking about health is because we do not possess it. If we possessed it, we would accept it as natural and reasonable. When we go to sleep, have bad dreams, and when we contemplate ourselves only with anxiety, this means that in some way we have failed in the phase of our philosophy of life which preserves health. So we can understand why a Chinese physician would attempt to apply these facts to the lives of his patients. He is very anxious, not only as a scientific person, a philosophic scholar, but as a religious man seeking to preserve the way of heaven, to maintain the order and harmony of all things. There you go. See, they got to figure it out. Acupuncture, the body, does certain things, They were the ones that figured out chakras and crap. We didn't. The Chinese became aware, perhaps, in the study of the philosophers of ancient India. The way of heaven is a way of order and discipline, and the individual who does not discipline himself is very unlikely to be healthy. To the Western man, discipline is an unpleasant thought, which he would prefer to forget. Yet he suffers far more from lack of self-control than he would from self-discipline. Yes, most Western people, meaning us in the Americas, don't have any self-control. Just look around. You'll see plenty of obese people who eat. People on have emphysema, smoking cigarettes, carrying around their little oxygen bottle. People who have diabetes and eat cake, then run to the bathroom and take some shots so that they can, counteract the actions of those deeds they have done. I think that's all I got for. Oh man, I run out of slides. In the superior person, the healthy person has regular existence. His life is free from shock and relationship between the sun and the moon, and the spirit and the body is actimable and devoid of stress and strain. Wherever shock enters into the economy of man, there is damage, and it is therefore very important that the person shall be prepared for critical situations and unexpected emergencies. That's right. If you have a healthy body, well, then and you have an emergency, it's going to affect you less than if you have an unhealthy body and have an emergency. We are constantly confronted with unsolved problems, which disturb us at unguarded moments. When tension or stress arise, we must do all we can to prevent this from reaching critical proportions. The same thing is true of world affairs. Many centuries of selfishness have led us to the present crisis in international relationships. The crisis now seems enormous, but it could have been prevented from the very beginning. Had honesty and insight been permitted to lead, instead, procrastination dominates our lives. And the longer we postpone our unfinished business, the greater the emergency will be when it finally breaks upon us. The health and philosophy, these long neglected situations, which bring the ultimate emergencies, are responsible for a very large part of sickness and related difficulties which we experience. Wow, now that is true. If you put off something for a long time, it just manifests, gets worse and worse and worse. Delaney Pearl Jones is in the house, and she can testify to that. The symbolism of the sun and the moon are deeply involved in this treatment as various ailments. One type of old remedy had a tonic effect. Chinese used such medicines to impart vitality, and these supported the heaven energy. They were composed of materials associated with worship of the sun, radiant power, and vital substance derived symbolically from obvious evidence in nature that certain animals, flowers, plants, and even minerals possess the solar principle. The solar principle gathered into various connotations and medications we used to strengthen the solar power in man. The second type of medicine was that which cleansed. These remedies, having to do with the quality of the moon, were used to purge the system, the toxins, the poisons, or other accumulations of waste. The Chinese said philosophically that in the process of human life, two things are necessary. One is continual strength of the principles. This is the solar medicine. The other is the continual excretion of corruption. This is the lunar medicine. And I think I'm going to stop right there. We're about halfway through this little bitty book. I kind of like this little book. See, it's just real thin, slim, and you can't see it, but there you go. And I'm going to stop sharing over here. There we go. Yeah, I like this little book. See, it's just real thin. It's like more like a little pamphlet. That pamphlet is pretty darn expensive. So anyway, I hope you're all enjoying this. And we got a little bit of time. You know what? If I can find my Moonology cards, I'm going to pull you a card for tonight. Because you know what? I feel like it. And I got to be somewhere here. Well, son of a gun. I just had them here a second ago. And I don't know what I did with them. Don't you hate it when you put something down and then you got to look for it and you go, oh, it was right there. It was right there the whole time. I swear I put them right here. Let me think. Oh, wow. Yeah. They were right in front of my face. Okay. Because it's Christmas. I usually don't pull a card. But, you know, we're going to do something different tonight. I'm just having fun with it. So I hope you're enjoying the ride. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We got these Moonology cards that I got from Nina. Thank you, Nina. I want to say again. All right. And And as Nina would say, set your intentions. And this will be a card reading for you. And I think Shirley says, I need a card reading. Okay, Shirley, I will focus on you. And we will pull you a card here. And if it resonates with anybody else, it's just it's going to resonate. But I'm going to have Shirley on my mind. Surely I will have Shirley on my mind. If I can shuffle these cards a little bit. Just a little bit, I'll shuffle them. And, of course, it's never as good as Nina. Nina's good at this stuff. You know, you do more card readings than I do, Nina. But I'm focusing. I got to show you what else I got. I have gotten these too. Look at my new rods. I have these rods. They still haven't started working yet. I'm sleeping with them every night. But these are my new rods. You can see them. Let's see if they're working tonight. Let's try them out. Are you guys working? And we gotta put them back. We gotta put them forward. Put them this. And you say, what do you say? My name, Robert V. Come on. You gotta coax them together. Close my eyes and think hard and straight. Nope, I don't think they're working on it for me yet. My name, Robert V. Is it snowing outside? Okay, we'll make it really simple. Is it cold outside? Still not doing anything. Okay, still having to work on those. Okay, ready for the card, everyone? Here we go. We're going to pull this card right here. It keeps jumping out. Card from the middle. And this one here, I surely hope that's these cards. I love these cards. They're nice when this kind of stuck together. There we go. Full Moon in Virgo. Take inspired action. There we go. Inspired action. We gotta go to the full moon in Virgo. It's the front. Sorry it takes me a little longer, but I am just doing this slowly. Full moon in Virgo. Full moon in Virgo, page 90. Let's see what it says. See, now if I was a really good card reader, I would just tell you from the heart what it says. But I have no idea because I'm a novice at this. So take it or leave it as you want. It says that I need light because my eyes are bad and I need better glasses. That's what it's telling me. And I need my special little light, which is right here. This way I can flip it up. I got too many little lights. But, you know, when you get old, you got to have the glasses and then you look at the thing. So, anyway, here we go. This card is bursting with